Hello, Dental Team listeners. This is Kiera, and oh gosh, today's a great day. I have the one and only Spiffy Tiffy on the podcast. I feel like we're going back to like OG status here, Tiff. Like it's been a while. Welcome to the podcast. How are you?
No, I'm good. Thank you. Luckily, Shelby snuck a time in here for us. And gosh, we've got a birthday podcast. We've got this coming up. Like we've got all kinds of stuff in the works, but I'll see you in a year.
I know, right? See
That's all we
ya.
get.
See you next May. I'll see ya. No, I love it because honestly, you and I host, we podcast, you take a lot with the consultants. And so I selfishly put you in on my day of podcasting because I miss our OG days. I miss us hanging out. I mean, I did take us on a hike and podcast. Like that was really going back in style. Supposedly the video works. So if you guys saw it, give us a thumbs up. We were both very awkwardly uncomfortable sitting up there, but it was awesome.
There were so many
And the
words.
things like this, I got sunburnt. So that was funny when we were up there, all the pieces, but it was a good time. And I feel like that's back to our original roots, Tiff. Sometimes I think we need to remember where we came from and how we got here. So
I agree.
yeah. I mean, I was just talking to Shelby and Christy and told them about our Venmo days and how you stayed with me through all these years. If
Here
you don't
I
know the
am.
Venmo story, when Tiff first started, I paid her via Venmo, and Venmo has maxes. If you didn't know that, Tiff was a 1099, so I paid her via Venmo. I would not recommend this. And why Tiffany stayed with me, I don't know, because the Venmo would max, and I'd have to text her and be like, "Hey, so it's maxed out. Give me like 2 days." It wasn't that I didn't have money; it's just that Venmo would max. So Tiff, I don't know, like how did you feel like that wasn't a shady business? That's question number one, and then we'll get into our real topic today.
I have no idea. Honestly, I don't have an answer for that. I truly just don't. I just trusted. And by early on, it was like the first 2 months of working together, and you didn't have employees yet. So I guess in the back of my mind, I was like, we're just creating the systems, like we're figuring it out. And worst case scenario, like I always, I always have a backup plan, and I was still in my office. So it was
You
like,
are.
that's fine. We're figuring this out. We're going to see how it works. And here we are, almost 8 years later.
It's
Not
incredible.
Venmoing.
Nope, definitely not Venmo. And it was funny because I was thinking back to like startup businesses, and I did a podcast with someone else, and we were talking about like, I think you forget when you like go to open your second location or your third of like, oh yeah, like we had to scrap it that hard when we first started. So Tiff, thanks for being an OG, which stands for original gangster, not oldie but goodie. But it's okay if you want to do Kira style. I had to ask Tiff a few things in my life. She had to educate me on a few, and that was one of. I was like, Tiff, what does OG stand for?
Luckily, I'm well cultured.
And here we are. So, Tiff, I figured with you and I on the podcast today, I thought it'd be really fun. You and I just in person did our fifth summit. Can you believe 5 summits? Like, Tiff,
No, when we had, I actually saw it, I saw it on social media, on our social media, and it said like our fifth summit is coming, and I was like, oh my gosh, is that true? How is that? Like, Cynthia posted it on our Instagram, and that's how I knew. So no, I can't believe that it was our fifth summit. It blew my mind when I saw that.
yeah, it was. Well, and there was a point in time where I debated if I wanted to keep doing summits. And the only reason that I actually went through is because we started the summits. Our first one was in 2021. And I knew I would be able to remember how many we had done because 2021 is one, two is two, 2023.
Right.
And I was like, we got to keep this up. Otherwise, I'm going to really get off count. So that's how I know it's the fifth because it's 2025. But I think honestly, Tiff, you and I wanted to give some highlights. If you missed it, you missed out and you should definitely mark your calendars for next year. I will say with wild confidence, and Tiff, I think you would agree, of all the summits that we have put on, this was by far, I think, our best production that we've ever done. I think it was our best content. I think it was our best flow. And like the feedback that we got from this summit was off the charts. Like shocking how good it was. That's my opinion. Next year, it's April 24th. So if you missed us this year, mark your calendars right now, block it out. It is a Friday. We do it for half a day. It is CE. So you're definitely going to want to block April 24th, 2026. That's coming to you guys. But Tiff, I felt it was our best, and I've got some ideas, and we want to give some recaps, but what were kind of your takes on the summit this year?
Yeah, I think we just got it dialed in. We take feedback every time we do anything, every time we consult a practice one-on-one, every time we group consult practices, webinars, like anything we do. So Summit, there's always been feedback requests, and I think we've done really well narrowing it down and figuring out what the biggest requests were. I think one of the major things that played to our advantage was really getting a ton of information in a short amount of time. I think crammed as much in, what do we do, like 4.5 hours?
Yeah,
As
more
we
than
have
that.
done in a day and a half. And we did really, really well. The presentation was clean, it was crisp, we had a ton of engagement. And honestly, we're still getting people scheduling the calls right now. Today, you've even done some during your podcasting day, I know, just to make sure that everybody's gotten the resources that we had available. And I just think it was jam packed with a ton of information. And it stacks really, really well with the consulting that we do for our one-on-one clients and for our group consulting. It just honestly played right into how all of the consultants operate with all of our clients. So it was fantastic. I agree.
Yeah. I thought it, and I agree with you. I think it was, I think we really dug into this extraordinary and something Tiff, you and I, this was Tiff's vision. So Kiera's vision was Summit. Tiff's vision were these in-person, like doctor leadership masterminds. And you have been pushing me for probably what, like 4 or 5 years to do this. Like it
Well,
has
as long
been
as we've been doing Summit.
so, so we're at 5 years then. It's been a solid push. I remember the day this came about. I think you do too. We were, Dental team was on a budget back in the day, and I still think to this day, even not on a budget, Tiff and I would still do this. We were sharing a hotel room, and we were sitting there chatting late at night. And I remember Tiff, you're like, Kiera, I have this vision of these in-person events where we get all our doctors together and we do like life and we do business. And I was like, I see it. And then you're like, and I also think we should have a coffee shop. Like it was like both mixed into one. I think the coffee shop also threw me because I'm like, how are we going to do all that? But we literally came to it, by the way, just highlighting you're in the blue shirt, I'm in the pink shirt today. How perfect is that? If you guys don't know, this is another vision. Tiff and I are going to be 90 plus year old grannies. We have the same birthday. I'm going to be cotton candy pink. Tiff's going to be cotton candy blue. So whenever we show up this way, it always makes me giggle just
Synchronistic.
how in sync we always are. But back to our vision of these in person that Tiff had. I think it played into our summit of we're really getting intentional of like life on purpose and business on purpose. And so this year's theme was unlocking gosh, it was unlocking extraordinary leadership and profitability. And what we wanted to do is I get really annoyed as a CEO when I do CE and it just is coming to me as the owner to then take it back and rally Tiff. And honestly, when I've tried to come back and rally the whole team, I just noticed there was this disconnect. And I think as a company, we've always had this vision of like, it's dental, it's doctors and team. Like, look at our name. It's dental A team, doctors and team. Like it really flies together. And so being able to bring teams together and doctors together in your office, in your space, but teach you life skills and dental skills. And Tiff, I know like when you go to offices, people tell you all the time, like how grateful they are. You teach them life through dentistry. Like walk me through why you do that, how you do it. I know it's just like who you are is your DNA, but I think that's why you have so much passion for what we do.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I truly believe that if I can create passion in someone for what they do for a living, that they'll stay lifelong. I think that I don't know. I don't know, Kara. I think, like you said, it's just naturally ingrained in me. It's just who I am. I take a lot of what I learn personally and I duplicate that and I kind of like copy and paste it onto who I am as a team member and as an employee because I don't believe I hate the term work-life balance because like I have like it drives me crazy because I live one life. I have one life and I have
Mhm.
different spaces of life for sure. But if I 100% show up differently in every space of life, I'm going to feel like I'm running ragged. So if I can look at relationships as just relationships, and then there's the stack of like intimate versus friendship, like for sure there's that deviation. But if I can treat every relationship with the same basics and communication with the same basics, then I'm not confusing myself. I'm not trying to be something I'm not, and I'm not working harder. I love easy. I love nothing more than to find efficiencies. And like that's a major efficiency in my life is really being able to stack a belief that I have and then copy and play and paste it into work. So the way that I communicate with you is the same way that I communicate with my boyfriend Aaron or my son Brody. I'm using different words to get a point across. So when I go into practices and I work with teams and I work with doctors, that's the kind of stuff that I leave them with. So when I'm speaking about how we can communicate, I'm also mixing in how those communication tools not only have helped our company and you and I's communication tenfold, but also how it helps me in my personal relationships at home. So I constantly, like, I think if you polled all of my offices, I don't think there's anyone out there who doesn't know who Brody is. He secretly probably hates that. He gets hellos, he gets like birthday cards, like all these things. Like, but I utilize him as such an example for how we can show up for our families and for our kids using the same tools. And so when I walk away and teams are saying that, they're saying, "Oh my gosh, Tiff, like I went home and I talked to my husband last night and I had the first real conversation that I've been able to have with him in forever because I listened, because I used the tools that you told me to use on patients." So the way that you're listening to a patient, the way that you're putting your ego aside and allowing your patient to be the most important person in the room, sometimes we have to put that aside and allow our spouse to be the most important person in the room for the time being and have a conversation instead of having a telling where we kind of just sit and we just talk at each other. We're not actually listening, we're not actively engaged, and jumping to the assumptions, all those pieces. So I think that's how I do it. And then I want like mass scale of that because I can only hit so many people one on one. And I think that's something that you and I have envisioned for the company for a really long time. We know that there's a limit of how many teams and how many doctors each consultant can affect. So being able to take these pieces and these skills and these developments that do smash life and work together on a mass scale like Summit or these in-person events that we're doing now for our doctors and our leaders was really something that I think spoke to both of us to be able to just get the message out, get things changed on a mass scale.
Totally. And I think that that just ties right into our vision of Dentally Team is to positively impact the world of dentistry in the greatest way possible. And we do that through expert consulting for dentists and teams. And you're right. Like, it's funny. We always run into these zones of like, we've hit the ceiling. We've hit the ceiling of where we are. So how do we like turn and pivot and give more? Because as you were saying that, I actually think that that's the secret sauce to Dentally Team. I think we focus on life and business. We focus on you as a human and we do it through dentistry. And like dentistry is our vehicle. Like, what did I say the other day? I said, life is my passion, dentistry is my avenue. And so really, or our platform. So we're able to come and like help you have this amazing life. And that's, I think, what all the summit was about. Like, it was literally, how do we do this? And so we walked the participants through, like, what does extraordinary mean to you? And so if you attended the summit, hopefully this is a good like analysis and like, how did you do and how are you doing? And kudos to all those who joined our Dentally Team family. By far, this was our best year of welcoming new offices in. And I think it just spoke to like, the flow that we were in and the mission that we're about. And we really brought in our Dentally Team success model, and we call it the yes model. So you can say yes to more things in your life, to whatever you want. And the Y stands for you as a person, and the E stands for earnings and profitability. The S stands for systems and team development. And when you add those three components together, you get success with ease. And Tiff, I think the you part was probably my favorite and funniest part of the entire thing. We went through, there are these little human beings that we draw and we like break up all the parts of our life. And Tiff did one of the funniest things she's ever done in front of me. And we were looking at her like current life and how her time was split up. And she'd never done this exercise. So I was so excited to do it with her in real life. And then Tiff, tell about your ideal life and what we uncovered. So like, okay, let me just give the visual. Basically what the idea was, and you can try this, is you take like a little image of you as a human and you break it apart and you look to see like in your day in and day out life, just like Tiff said, it's not, we're breaking apart like your life and your work balance, but it was like, how are you spending your time like cut up on a human body? So kind of like if you think about those cows and they have like the meat chunks like drawn out of them, like here's the fillet, here's the ribeye, like kind of like that, but on you of like, where's my work? Where's my family? Where's my friends? Where's my hobbies? Where's my working out? Like whatever's important to you. And like how much of your physical body, like in a visual of your full life, how much of that are we spending in different areas and what does it look like? Like it's really awesome. If you didn't get to participate in it, it was real fun. And then what we do, and we had like two little images next to each other. And then on the other side, we said, okay, this is what you're doing currently. And this is what real life looks like. What would your ideal life look like? Like, what would you want to spend? Like, where would you put this? And it's so fascinating because where people put things, it actually says a lot about them. Like what you put on the legs and what you put on the feet and what you put on the arms and what you put across your heart, what you put on your head. Like it really helps you identify things. But Tiff, go ahead, take this away as long as you're not embarrassed by it. Cause it was so freaking funny of how this shook out
I mean,
in
we've
real time.
got hundreds of people already, so why not just ramp it up? Now we've got thousands, I guess. That's fine.
Why
No,
not? Here we
emails
go.
never is nothing's no, maybe some things are too far, I guess, but I'm an open book. So it was really, really cool. And I had not done it yet. I've done other things similar to it. Even we have done similar things to it, of just really looking at, I took it as like my vision of where I wanted my life to be, and then like what is going to propel me there, like what aspects of life and relationships, etc., will propel me to that vision. So kind of what we
And
did in
kudos to you,
person in
Tiff,
March.
because that's what it's supposed to be. Like it's
Yeah,
literally helping you see, like, okay, where am I spending it? And then where do I want to become? And the idea is to help you visualize your future, but also take it in as an identity of you to help you actually see how you yourself is that identity of the future vision. So huge kudos. Tiffany got it. That was the idea behind it. That's why we put it in a human form for you. It kind of looks weird. Like they like these weird little doll. I don't know. Like they look
she
weird. We
likes
still are trying
to
to
call
work on
them
it.
voodoo dolls. They're
Shush,
fun.
don't say that's like really going dark, Tiff. Go on. Go on.
Well,
She's
you
sharing
call
all
them
my
that,
secrets.
so maybe don't tell me those things because I'm an open book, apparently. So we did the first one, and I was like, well, it was really good. It was enlightening. It was actually really cool. And afterwards, I keep thinking about like where things were in order with my chakras and all of that stuff that I'm obsessed with. So it really made a huge difference there. But I did my first one, and then what I did is I folded the paper. They're both on the same piece of paper, and I was like, I don't want my current layout to impact what I want what I'm desiring, right? So I folded in half so I couldn't see my current layout. Well, what that did was took away from my brain the pieces that I had on there. And I had everything on my future one, on my what I want, my ideal. I had everything duplicated on there, just like different spaces, except I forgot to put work on there. So work got removed from my life. I don't know when this is happening, but apparently, I don't know. I said, you know what? It's just because like I don't have a work life balance. I just have life, and work is just integrated into every piece of my life because I enjoy it so much. So yeah, it was a really humorous event during Summit. I know. Then somebody said in one of the chats said, "What was it? Best resignation letter
Yeah.
ever." I was like, oh my gosh,
Exactly.
that's hilarious. That's amazing. So it was funny. I think that I have this innate ability to think of my life as what I want it to be, and work supports it. And whatever it is that I'm doing, I make sure that I'm passionate about the avenues that I'm taking. I think that's why I do include so much life, because life, like coaching and those pieces, have just helped me so much in my personal life. And so as I looked at it and as I thought back about it, I'm like, gosh, it's just that those are the pieces that are insanely important to me, and work is insanely important to me, but work is what propels those pieces in a lot of ways for me. And so thinking about like the amount of time separated out, I think just didn't feel right. You know what I mean? On that one. But it was hilarious. It was a
It
great
was really
moment.
funny. It
If
was
you were
really
there,
entertaining. It
yeah, it
was
was
super
super interesting.
entertaining, and it was it. And but I think, as you just said it, Tiff, and I didn't think about this at the time. I actually think it's awesome that your identity is not work, and I think that you as a human, like work is a part of it, life is a part of it, but work is not an identity piece of who you are. And I think that's been the case for so long. And I think for me, like work was such a huge identity piece for me that like we shifted it to where it's not work, and I actually changed what I view about the company, and now the company is my passion project, and so it gets lumped into my passions more so than it gets lumped into work. And it's even interesting, the language. And so we really went through these pieces, and it was awesome to go through. And Tiff, thanks for sharing that. And I just think like such a good visual. It was funny because I was like, so Tiff, is this your resignation letter like on live screen? And she's like, it's not, I promise, like things are good. But it was quite interesting. And then we also went through like the life cycle of a business, and I think that actually was so telling. We pulled that from Tony Robbins, and like, where are you on the life cycle of a business as you as a human? And it's been interesting is when we've talked to people post summit, they've said that that helps them just so much to see like, oh my gosh, like me as a human, I may be further along, but my business is at like this toddler stage. And so I need to hire people that are more in this like younger, energetic space because I'm over here on the other side, or I need to like kick it up and have this, or maybe my team is on this this further side where they're maybe closer to retirement. But me as a new owner, I'm actually not there. And I thought it was just such an interesting spot for them to see where they were. And then, of course, we dug into the earnings, the money. So we walked them through like profitability and overhead calculator and your monthly cost expenses, and then how do you figure this out and how do you become profitable, and really helping them see how like your supplies and your costs and your overhead directly impact your profit. And then a couple quick ways for you to actually watch this, and that's their KPI scorecard, and then also giving you then the systems. And we purposely hit 2 systems within, like we had you assess 12 systems on a 12 monthly basis, so that way you can keep them as a cadence, but then really diving into a couple that will boost your profitability and help your patients. And that was through block scheduling and case acceptance. So like just a really fun way. And then after that, we like hit some of my favorite parts and some parts that people really loved. Like I thought it was interesting when we went through like enemies of efficiency and the delegation ladder, and like where are you at and how much are you delegating. So many people said like my name was in all these tiers of the delegation ladder. And then we actually went through case studies, like what are like looking at hundreds and thousands of practices. I loved this part so much, Tiff. And we brought to the table like what are the characteristics of these extraordinary leaders for teams and for owners? And then what are the ones of the not so good? Like it is not hard when we walk into a practice, when we look at these leaders, we can usually see, are they going to be successful or are they not within very short amount of time? And even talking to them on the phone. And so being able to go through that. And I think just like the way it all stacked of like looking at you as a person, looking at your business, looking how they combine together and not be separated. And then like, shoot, enemies of efficiency, delegation, like just so many nuggets. And if you missed it, reach out. There might be some things that we could share with you guys, but I hope you put it on your calendar, because I think one, people left there inspired and excited. I've had people like I saw in office right after, and they said, Kiera, like what you guys put together was so helpful and so impactful. And like, I was able to take things and have tactical, and like people had their teams there, and they're like, you teaching my team to think about our practice as a business, but also as a patient-centered focus, and also as us as humans, like, where do you get that in CE anywhere else? And Tiff, I really truly think that that's the secret sauce of what we've tried to create and what we have created for all these practices. So that's kind of like my like nutshell of like, I loved the case studies. I love sharing what people do. Like I loved going through leadership and like the good and the not so good. And we actually had people like put in there, like, what do you think good leaders are? And what do you think bad leaders are? And like the not so influential ones. And to see, because there are truly patterns, and to like figure out the pattern and DNA of these great practices so you can go model and mirror it, I just think was like freaking magic to share with people, because we see it. They don't necessarily get to see it a day in and day out.
Yeah, I totally agree. I always tell my practices, my doctors, that my biggest goal is that the business works for them, not them working for the business. And I think the tools that we shared with them and the things that they could take home, the communication tools, the efficiency tools, all of those, like, yes, models, everything that we sent them away with are easily implemented and will propel towards that goal where the business literally is supporting your life. And maybe, right now, today, on your current little man, your little person, your, work, your business might be a large portion of that human being. And it was for us for a long time because it had to be. It was a space that we had to create that, and we had to show up every day for the business so that eventually the business could show up for us. And I think we've gotten to a point now, both of us, where this company and this business and the people that we have here with us on our side are supporting that vision, and really things have started to shift. So on the life cycle of a business, like you might be in that stage where you are hungry to get your business running off the ground, and you might be putting more in there than your future self wants. But guess what? If you know that vision, it's super clear. You can make your business work for you so that you're not constantly working for your business, and eventually it will turn around.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's just to me, that's like what gets us excited. Like I love giving people their life back. I love like Tiff, as much as I give you a hard time about having work off of there, that was not the case a year ago. Like you were stressed out of your mind about work. And I think it would have taken a huge chunk. And I was stressed a year ago about work too. Like I think it was a huge portion of our time, our mental energy. And I think like you and I have both helped each other get our lives back. I think that we are happier humans now. And so we're living proof of it. But then also to give practices their lives back, to give teams their lives back, to like there's an office that I'm super excited we're working with. And they said like, I'm so burnt out. I feel like and like the whole leadership team, they're like, we're the ones who are here after hours. We're the ones that are here before. We're the ones who are like, just, they're like exhausted. It's like wringing a rag out. And then you squeeze it even more, trying to get like the last 2 drops of life out of them. And I said, what would it be like if I told you that if you got out of here every day at 5 o'clock, you're not allowed to stay later, you're not allowed to come in earlier. And at the end of that week, you'd be able to go on a trip to Cabo or wherever you want to go, pick your dream location, Hawaii, the Caribbean, I don't care. You choose your place. Or if you want like, I don't know, say $50,000 or whatever it is, could you get out on time? And they were all like, yes. And I said, so A, we know it's possible. And B, that's getting your life back. So first homework assignment working with us is everyone's out the door by 5, at least one day this week. And it's crazy because just small little changes that don't seem huge help people get their life back. And Tiff, it was just so magical to be with you and to be in person with you and to present and to give this. And I think that that's probably why we were both so excited from it. Of like, I felt like we were in Taylor Swift. Let me just give a little Swifty, like the lavender haze. I felt like we were in the Dentally team haze after the summit of just the euphoria of knowing we were able to give people their life back, their teams getting energized, giving them hope and excitement. Again, not just about a practice, but about a life. So those are kind of my takeaways, Tiff. Any last thoughts you have? Because I loved it and I'm so grateful you were a part of it. Ride or die, cotton candy, pink and blue for life. Like truly just being able to deliver our magic and to change lives and to bless them through dentistry, I think is something that we both, I think I took for granted for a hot minute and realized like what a beautiful blessing it is in the way we're doing it now versus stringing ourselves up to dry, doing it so hard, now doing it through passion and ease and flow rather than through force and pull like we did in the past.
I agree. Yeah, I totally agree. I ditto all of that. And I think having the team that we have behind us, the consultants who are here, and they are so excited to help so many new clients. This week, we have just seen such an influx of people ready to change their lives, ready to change what their business model looks like. And like you said, get their lives back. It's been just really incredible. And watching our consulting team just rise to the occasion, rally. And I mean, we've got clients that just signed up this week that I've got Trish and Christy and Dana have already implemented tools. Dana has already within weeks found significant money issues and things going on that it's just really cool to be able to watch so many people outside of you and I be able to truly transform lives. And that's what we're all about, is really just creating the best for everyone that's involved.
Yeah, Tiff, I love it. And I agree. Our consultants are second to none. And so if you missed out, you did miss out, and like put it on your calendar for next year. I do believe that Dentally Team Summit is like next to none. Like we just have so much fun. We bring fun to CE and we make it enjoyable and easy. But I hope you choose to join us next year for sure. But if you're thinking like what we just talked about, you want to know more about, or you want some tips for it, or you want some of the resources that we share, reach out, hello@thedentally-team.com. We'll happily like assess it with you and your practice. Like we have given so many tools out and so much help to all these practices, but I think truly giving you your life back, helping you help more patients and having more fun is what we're about. So Tiff, thanks for being on the podcast. Thanks for doing Summit with me. I enjoyed it, and I just appreciate and adore you so much as a human and as a colleague, as a coworker, as a mentor, and just being in my life for who you are. So thanks for being here today. I super appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me and supporting me through my journey.
Always. And for all of you listening, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time on the Dentally Team podcast.